Hello to everyone who is out there. Welcome to the coronavirus update video 15.0. Today's date is the 30th of March 2020, and we have a bit of news that we can of course go through today. So first of all, thank you for everyone for tuning in. Thank you for everyone for setting your alarms and coming back every single day to come and watch the news, basically the live updates on everything that has been happening with the coronavirus here in Spain. So for everyone who is a first-time watcher, welcome. My name is Adrian Cockings. This is not my real job. I'm not a reporter. However, I'm doing this because I know there are a lot of people out there who do not understand Spanish and they cannot read the articles that are coming out first in Spanish. So I'm just trying to get the information out to you as soon as possible. Remember, every single day at 4 p.m. we go live and I try and just update you on the news basically. So let's get started. First of all, happy Monday. Everyone who is here, happy Monday. Hope you have a great day today. The weather is not as good as yesterday, but it's still not raining. So definitely a thumbs up there where we are especially. And I just want to say thank you for all 2,500 of you who have liked this page. This page was actually made just because I actually just wanted to share and get it away from the business page. And I never thought that it would get to 2,500 people liking it. And that's just the likes. We've got just over 4,500 people following this page and following these live videos. So again, thank you everyone who tunes in, and thank you so much for liking and sharing, because you guys are the one who is sharing this information properly. Okay, so as we always do, I like to do a quick rundown on the numbers that have been put out today. Every midday, the government officials put out the numbers of people infected, numbers of deaths, and the numbers of people who have recovered from the coronavirus here in Spain. So, as it stands from the 30th of March 2020, the number of infected is 85,195. That is 6,393 in the last 24 hours, but it is 150 less than the previous 24 hours. Also, deaths, there are 7,340 deaths. That is 812 in the last 24 hours. Someone worked it out as one every 2 minutes or every 3 minutes or so. So it's a lot still, but it's still less than yesterday's 24 hours. And the number of people cured is 16,780. That is 2,071 in the last 24 hours, which is more or less the same as the previous 24 hours as well. So, what can we see? Now, I put a post out this morning about this as soon as the results came in. What hopefully is actually happening, and this is what the government is predicting at the moment, one time or a day this week, we should be reaching the peak. Now, watching the numbers, of course, this is only 2 days in a row that the numbers have been more or less the same. We're still yet to go down this incline, so we're hoping, and the way everything's going at the moment, the people who are sacrificing a lot to try and help out this country, we could be at the peak already, or at least at the start of the peak. We still got a couple of days. We have to have a consistent day toll to basically see if there is a peak and if we are reaching this peak or not. So from what I can see from these numbers especially, and I try and share the numbers out every day. If I don't get them out, N332, a fantastic page run by Guardia Civil and volunteers as well, they actually post out the numbers as well. And I actually posted their post today, because you can see the numbers from all the way last week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and you can just see the numbers that are now starting to be reduced. So we could be at the peak. I'm not saying we are at the peak, but we could be there, at least at the start of the peak. So thank you everyone who is doing their part, for staying at home, for sacrificing all their time to be at home and making sure that everyone who is out are actually doing an essential job and putting their lives at risk, especially for us. So unbelievable. Round of applause for you guys especially. Okay, so in the last 24 hours, there has been a lot of people talking about the new laws that have come into place. Yes, the laws are now in place as of the Monday, today, the 30th of March. What can we say about the new laws? Well, basically, they are very, very similar to what they have been before. They're just cracking down on the actual laws on who can work and who can't work, okay? So if you are someone who is unsure, or if you know someone who is unsure whether they can be working or not, share this video to them quickly, because I'm going to do a quick rundown. And again, it's a very, very quick rundown. I've shared the link to the post that has been translated, to the document that has been translated. So if you want to go back and read all of it, brilliant. But I'm going to be just talking about the main things that we get basically asked every single day. So we'll jump straight into it, okay? So the new laws, as of today, they are basically restricting a lot of people from working. Now, the main thing that they are restricting now is construction work. A lot of people are builders out here. They are no longer allowed to work, okay? The only time that construction can happen is if it is with a hospital, building a temporary hospital or something like this, helping the government officials, or if it is an emergency. Now, you should be able to class what an emergency is. Putting in a new kitchen, unfortunately, is not an emergency, and the police will fine you. Doing an extension is not an essential piece of work. However, if, for example, there is an emergency, a car went through your living room, yes, this will be classed as an emergency. You've got no wall in your living room, so yes, this could be classed as an emergency, okay? So if you are a builder and you're thinking, well, I won't get caught, I could do this, just be careful out there. I would highly recommend not to go out working now. If your boss is requesting you that you do go to work, get permission from him, because your line will be, you will be on the line there, and you could be fined, as well as your boss, as well as the homeowner as well. So please be very, very careful about that, okay? That's basically the main thing that they were trying to talk about. Construction can no longer go ahead. Right, but we will talk about the ones that have been put as essential. So the postal service, everyone has been saying, and for some reason the BBC Madrid have been reporting a lot of fake news. I've been getting tens, almost 30 or 40 different emails every single day saying BBC Madrid said this, BBC Madrid have declined this. I really have no idea where this is coming from, because it is none of the sources that I have actually seen. It's none of the information that I've translated from government websites. So I think they're speculating a lot, and they're just trying to get clicks onto their website. So please be very careful with them. But the postal service, this is one thing I kept being requested for. Is the postal service still working? Yes, the postal service will still running. That is private companies and Correos, the Spanish post office. Yes, they are still working. It will be delayed if you have ordered stuff. Of course, they're going to be flat out with the amount of deliveries that they have to do. But postal services are still going. They will still be working. I said this yesterday as well, but yes, they will be working. Tobacconists as well, so tobacco shops, yes, they are still working, and they will still be open as well. And pool services, as in pool cleaners. Now, this wasn't actually mentioned as pool maintenance, as swimming pool maintenance. However, in the document, it does say that water maintenance, I did have it here. I've lost it now. But basically, water treatment is what it's classed as, can still go ahead. And there is a whole section about it. But also, there is another section which is about maintenance as well. Maintenance of properties, or not properties, of areas. So I don't know, if you're in a resort, a golf resort, for example, the maintenance of the golf course will actually still be legally allowed to go ahead. Of course, they will only be doing the essential work, but this is still allowed ahead. So I think it would also be classed, pool maintenance could basically be under that category as well. So we're still getting the information, but I've messaged a couple of people today, and I've had messages sent to me as well. People actually going to their local authorities and asking and requesting this information. And as far as we know, yes, pool cleaners can still go ahead. There is a post going around at the moment that someone went to the police and they said that this is okay. But basically, take care. If you are a pool cleaner out there, make sure that when you go to the property, you have the full list of the places, the addresses where you have to go to. You have the necessary documentation to say that you are going out to work and pool maintenance. So this is just writing yourself a letter, putting your NIE number and your home address on there as well. And this makes it a lot easier when passing through any stop checks by the police, okay? And then from there, you should be okay. Now, of course, you can take a document with you, this document that was produced today. If you put that onto your phone or you can print it out, then you can highlight this category and just basically say, well, yes, it's water treatment. So this is actually allowed. Now, remember, a lot of people are complaining at the moment because they've been stopped, they've been pushed to another supermarket, etc., etc. We'll get onto that in a sec, but please be very, very patient with the police, the Guardia Civil, the local police, because they are doing so much for us, and they are of course receiving all this news every single day. They're receiving new laws, new rules that they have to try and follow. Half the time the information might not get to these people in time, so please be patient with them, explain why you're going to be out. Don't get frustrated if they are advising you to go somewhere else or to do this or to do that. You should be lucky that they're not finding you, of course. That's the main thing there. So that's basically it. So to take a sum up of it, construction work is no longer allowed, but pool services should be allowed, tobacconists will be open, and postal services will be opened as well. They are continuing basically to be open as well. As normal, all the other things that are still going ahead, this includes the manufacturing of food, as in farms, agricultural land, etc. This is still going ahead. Of course, we need demand and supply here. All pharmacies are still open. That is not a problem. Hospitals, all the medical staff that are going to the hospitals, nurses, etc. This is all just like normal. This is basically the main thing that has changed. They've basically clarified that construction work should now be closed, okay? Right, moving on. Funeral homes or funeral services especially. Now, there was a bit of information on the news that funeral services have been doubling, almost tripling their prices of burials and cremation. Of course, this new law has been put into place, and they've said and stated that they cannot do this, and it is illegal now to raise prices of funeral costs. So if you do have someone who has passed and they have been cremated at an extremely high price, you can actually get refunds back from the funeral services now. So this was a big thing also on the news as well, because of course that's outrageous. For someone profiting on death at such a high rate, I think it is outrageous. It really is. So hopefully now this should be sorted and they should start refunding money, especially, or they should be putting their prices back to what they originally were. All right, also on the news, people who adopted dogs. Now, of course, when this lockdown went into place, the basic rules were you're allowed to walk your dog. So, of course, a lot of people went to the adoption agencies and dog rescue centres and they started adopting dogs. Especially on the news, there was one place in Madrid which had over 170 dogs, and within 2 days, they were all adopted. This is fantastic news. However, some people might be looking at taking an advantage of having a dog, walking it, and then dumping it after this lockdown is over. But fear not, the police are now cracking down on this, okay? They will have, of course, all the documentation of all the people who have adopted these dogs, okay? And they will be going to the shelters as well, hopefully getting the information. And they could do checkups. So if you have adopted a dog and you're thinking about dumping it, do not. Be a sensible human being. Keep that dog because it is a rescue dog, okay? If you can't take care of it anymore, then do not kick it out. Try and find a home for it. Be a human, seriously. So, the maximum fines for people dumping dogs, and if you see this especially, you should contact your authorities, but maximum fines are going to be put into place for anyone who is dumping dogs at the end of this lockdown, or even during this lockdown especially. So, fingers crossed, anyone who has adopted a dog, they're going to be doing it from the kindness of their hearts, but if not, hopefully they'll get the majority or the maximum fine that they can get as well. Right, moving on. The police have the government has also been talking about the rent of people who aren't able to pay their rent anymore. So basically at the moment, there have been a lot of questions about people who have lost their jobs or are self-employed and can no longer work due to their profession. And they are getting a little bit worried or concerned that it's coming up to the end of the month and they're no longer able to pay their month. Now, at the moment, the government are talking about this. Nothing has been confirmed. If you're reading any articles saying that rent is going to be paid by the government, this is not true as of yet. They are talking about it, but the most likable cases that are going to happen with this is if you can prove that you have a loss of income and you can prove that you do not have enough funds to pay for your rent. I think that's going to be the only scenario where the government are going to be able to pay the rent for you. But for the moment, nothing has been confirmed, so we're just waiting to see if something does come out and what will the laws be when following this, okay? So hopefully, fingers crossed, in the next couple of days we'll have a bit of information about that. So if you are asking about rent and if something's going to be covered, we don't know yet, but hopefully something will come out. Right, and the closest supermarket. A lot of people are still asking questions. Can I go to a further away supermarket? No. The police are now cracking down on fines, and I've been sent 3 different fines in the last 24 hours. And 2 of them were basically, they were going to a supermarket that was not classed as their nearest. The fine was €2,000, and I can show you this, but I won't because of privacy. It's €2,000. If you pay within 15 days, it's €1,000. So people, if you do have a local supermarket or a supermarket that is close to you, you should be going to this one, unless you can prove that you have dietary needs and you need to go to a certain supermarket. Then you can go. But unless you have proof of where you need to go and why you need to go, you should not do this. If you are caught by the police, they will fine you. And as we can see from the results, it's €2,000 fine, which is extortionate. But they're trying to keep people in the area that they are, so it's not to contaminate any other areas or any other towns around them, okay? So please be very, very careful with that. So that's, I believe, is basically it. Now, this one's actually a short one today, just about 20 minutes, which is good. So I wanted to try and keep it short. Now, something that we always do in Spain has been taken to the UK as well. Basically applauding anyone who is out there on the front line doing their services: truck drivers, nurses, lorry drivers, doctors, police, Guardia Civil, anyone who's continuing to maintain areas, agricultural farmers, anyone who is working out there still. We really appreciate it. Every single night at 8 p.m, the people around this area, around Spain, they go out to their balconies and they clap, they play music, and they applaud anyone who could be listening, okay? So if you guys want to join in with this, 8 p.m. every single night, go out onto the balconies, send some videos and photos over as well. I love to see different things that you guys are doing, what music you're playing. We've, of course, last week we did We Are the World as our anthem. A lot of people played it as well, so really, really good to see. But what also the Spanish are starting to do, they are starting to pay their respect for the people who are no longer with us, who have lost their lives with the coronavirus. And in Madrid, especially at 12 o'clock every midday, they are doing 1 minute of silence. So I think this could also be something that we could start doing as well. Set an alarm on your phone at midday every single day. It's just nice to reflect on the people you may have lost over the last year, not just with the coronavirus, and think about the people who are no longer with us. And just take a minute just to think about them, because I think it's a nice thing to do, not just to think about the doom and gloom, but think about the nice memories as well, and the nice memories that you've had of these people who are no longer with us. So I think that's what we could do as well. Right, and I think that's basically it. So what we're going to be doing now for the next 2 or 3 minutes, I've talked about silver linings before, and a couple of people have been messaging me about silver linings and people tagging me in different posts as well. I know there was one woman, Angie, she's now been able to do double unders on skipping ropes because of this lockdown. So my question is to you, what is your silver lining? I know we're stuck and we are still 2 weeks to go. We are 2 weeks in, but we've got another 2 weeks to go. So what is your silver lining? What can you take away from being at home for 2 weeks and another 2 weeks? And what can you do? What are you proud of? What can you say is your silver lining? My silver lining is I'm able to spend time with my daughter. She's only 2.5 months old, and being a real estate agent, I'm out of the house quite a lot, doing viewings, photographing. So for me to be able to spend a lot of time with my daughter, especially for the last 2 weeks, it has been phenomenal. It's been something that I don't think I would ever get if this lockdown wasn't put into place. So my silver lining at the moment is I'm able to spend time with my daughter, my wife as well, my beautiful, beautiful wife, who is who's also behind the scenes here. She's translating a lot of documents for us. She's, as we're watching the news, she's telling me what I could write down and doing all of this. So I think, well, what's your silver lining? What is something that you are proud of? I just saw in the comments there, I've managed to quit smoking. Great, that is a great silver lining there. I think that's something really, really good, especially over the 2 weeks. Seeing my 5-month-old grandson, Holly, again. Oh, that's a really, really nice tune as well. I've got fit and healthy and lost 1 pound, short of 1 stone. Very good, Linda, that's really good. More exercise classes online. Yeah, there's so many things that you can do, especially with exercise and stuff like that. So I think it's really, really nice. So what is your silver lining? What do you think is, well, what are you proud of that you've done? Because there's so many different things that you can do whilst you're in isolation. And I think it's nice just to reflect on the silver lining here, okay? So put a comment down below of what your silver lining is. Also, guys, my personal Facebook has been marked as spam again because I'm sharing this and liking your comments. Facebook look at me as a robot because I'm liking too many comments and they've marked me as spam. So I can no longer share these videos. So if you guys can share this for me, if you can share it onto your personal page, or if you can share it onto any groups that you're a part of, start sharing this out, because at the moment I'm not able to share this, and I think this information is very, very valuable. You know, we're 2,500 strong in this group, so I want to make sure that it could grow even more and help as many people as possible. Oh, lastly, one more thing. I know we're 2 weeks in, and I know we've got 2 more weeks to go, and a lot of people are now starting to feel it. You know, being in isolation or self-isolation, it can be very, very tough. So I just wanted to get this out there. It was mentioned on the news today that you should talk to someone if you are feeling depressed, or if you're feeling isolated, or feeling the tension of being in lockdown. So my wife is a psychologist. She graduated from university as a psychologist. She is available to talk. If you can send us a private message just saying, I need to talk, we will be there to help. Well, my wife will be there to help you, okay? Share this to anyone who you think might be having a tough time through this lockdown. I know we've got another 2 weeks to go, but if you think, or if you have anyone that you know who needs just a little bit of help or someone to talk to, message this group, this page. My wife will respond to you and you can have a conversation with her. She'll be able to talk to you for you to get things out, and for someone to listen to you. It can also be really, really, really good for the mind, especially when you're combating this self-isolation, okay? So, guys, that is it. Write down your silver linings down there. I want to see what you guys are going to be proud of doing over this next couple of days. And that is basically it. I will see you guys tomorrow at 4 p.m. And remember, 4 p.m. every single day. Join in the chat, and you can send me messages as well. If you have any symptoms whatsoever, message me and we'll be able to make phone calls for you. That's basically it, guys. I know it's a short one today, but it's always a really, really good time. So I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Stay safe and stay inside, okay?